Welcome to Chapter 5, Section 3, Add, Subtract, and Multiply Polynomials. Alright, to begin with, there are two ways you can set up these problems. And honestly, you can choose whichever way works better for you. I'm going to show a lot of vertical and horizontal, but really, again, you need to choose one and really make sure you understand one over the other. To begin with, adding polynomials. I do a lot of this horizontally. All right. I like this way. I can do both, and both I can see a benefit of both of them. I learned how to do it horizontally, and that's fine. So with example A here, the first thing you need to do for vertically the first thing you're going to do is line up like terms. Okay? And actually, I may move this down and say that the real first thing you will really want to do is put into standard form. Then line up the terms and then combine. And you're either going to combine using addition or combine using subtraction. So horizontally, you don't have to do any of that lining up or putting in standard form. All you have to do is combine the like terms. Okay? So looking here vertically, the constants are lined up. Hopefully you can see that there's a 0x here. That's why there's a space. X squareds, x cubes are lined up, and we're adding. So everything gets added. Negative 6 plus 3 is minus 3. 4x and a 0x is 4x. Negative 2x squared plus a negative 5x squared, so together gives you negative 7x squared. And then here, 3x cubed with a 1x cubed should be a 4x cubed. That's horizontally. Now, or that's vertically. Vertically is nice because a lot of the setup is done at the beginning, is setting the problem up, whereas horizontally you have to make sure you're doing it the right way on your own. All right, so vertically combine like terms. So y cubed, is there any y cubed over here? If there's not, then it stays 2y cubed. Y squared, that's a 7 plus negative 4. Well, 7 plus negative 4, all right, I guess I could put it in here. So it's 7y squared minus 4y squared. And then 6y, the 3y. So now we've got a minus 6y and a plus 3y. And the only thing that's left is a minus 9. So once I have combined like terms, you now actually put them together. 7 minus 4, negative 6 plus 3, and just the minus 9. So, oh, oops, that's not where that comes from. There you go. So that's addition. Here's some more. Subtraction. So vertically, they want you to distribute the minus sign. I don't necessarily know if that's necessary, you can just look at it. 7 minus 5. Negative 3 minus a minus is a plus. So negative 3 plus 7, 4x. I'm going to say that this is supposed to be a squared and not a cubed. So I'm going to change that to a squared. All right, so everyone take a look. You're going to make this number here a 2. So cross that off. 2. Negative 6 minus 3 is minus 9x squared. And 7 minus 6 is an x cubed. Making them all negative, making this a minus 5, and this a plus 7x, and this a minus 3x squared, and this a minus 6x cubed, still will give you x squared minus 9x squared plus 4x plus 2. I don't think you need to do all of that work. You really just have to do this first one. Working vertically now, though, it also wants you to distribute the negative. And that's fine, but you can get the answer from the beginning. Meaning, 8 minus 12 is negative 4. We did the x squared and the x squared. Negative 5 minus negative 9. So negative 5 minus a minus. And then 11 minus minus 3 is 14. Now, if you have trouble doing some of that work in your head, you're going to want to distribute and make this a minus 12x squared. Distribute the minus onto that minus, so it's a plus 9x. And distribute that minus onto this minus, which also gives you a plus 3. And you still end up with the same result. All right, find the sum or differences. Right, here's a checkpoint. I'm going to continue with this, doing this horizontally. 8t. Well, let's do something different. Let's look for the biggest exponent. Actually, no, we'll just work through. So, 8t matches with no other number. So, 8t. 6 matches with 7. So 6 minus 7 is minus 1. Minus 5t squared minus a minus is plus. So it's minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2t squared. And then the only thing left over is this, which is minus 2t cubed. So when I work this out and put it in standard form, the highest exponent goes first, then the next highest, and that's it. All right, let's do an addition problem. P squared with P squared minus 6p with a minus 17p or 7p There you go. All right, let's go ahead and look at guided practice number 1. All right, there you go. So combine like terms, t squared plus 5t squared. negative 6t with a negative 2 or negative t, and then a 2 and a minus 8, and you're done. All right, multiplying polynomials. Vertically can be done just like you would a normal number. And again, you're going to choose one and determine which one you like the best, vertically or horizontal. So vertically, you're going to multiply all of these numbers by 2 first, just like you would a normal number. Like if you were doing 314 times 12, you would do 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. Then you leave a space and do 2 times 1 times 4, 1 times 1, 1 times 3. And then you would add. So you would do some multiplying, and then you do adding. For us, it's the same thing except we're using equations. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times x, 2 times negative x is negative 2x. 2 times 3x squared is 6x squared. Well, then just like before, we leave a blank or a 0 or a box there. And we line up the like terms. So x times 4 is a plus 4x. X times negative, that's a negative x squared. X times 3x cubed is 3x cubed. And now we simply add. That's how this is set up vertically. Horizontally, I don't like the way it's written like this. I think it should be the other way around. I think it should be more like A, except in a vertical way. So I'm going to cover up. Cover this up. And I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to show you that you go, instead of doing x minus 3 times all of this, I want it to be the other way around. I want you to take x and go times x squared. I want you to do x and do x times 2x. I want you to do x and go times negative 5. Then, now that x is done, it's negative 3's turn. Right, so it's, what was it again? Negative 3 times 2 is not positive, it's minus 6x minus 6x. Then negative 3 times negative 5 is plus 15. So now I combine like terms. There's no other x cubed, so it's just x cubed. 2x squared minus 3x squared becomes minus x squared. Minus 5x minus 6x becomes negative 11x. And then the last piece is just plus 15. All right. So, multiplying 3 binomials. You all, this right here should make some sense, okay? You're taking the first two, so you don't give a hoot about that last one. You're doing x times x, x times x is x squared, x times 7 is 7x minus 3x plus minus 21. So x squared plus 4x minus 21. So inside here, just that first part is there. Now it's telling us to go ahead and multiply this whole thing by x and this whole thing by 1. But again, I don't like that. I think you should just go ahead and say x squared times x is x cubed, and then x squared times 1 is x squared. And then do the 4x. 4x times x, 4x times 1, 2 minus 21x, and now combine like terms. X cubed, here's 2x, an x squared and a 4x squared, that's a 5x squared. It's a 4x and a minus 21 is a plus, or not a plus, a minus 17, I think. There you go. Okay. Now, there are some special patterns here. You already know the sum of differences. These are conjugate pairs. The middle part disappears, and it's this perfect square minus a perfect square. Square of a binomial, you should know already. You square the first, you square the last, and you double the inside. So here, square the first, square the last, and double the inside. So it's 2 times a times b. So it's a times b. So it's 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 is 12. Oops, you can't quite see that very well. So let's start over a little bit. You square the first number, you square that number. Then you double the product of 2 and 3. So that's negative 6 minus 12. All right, cube of a binomial. You just follow this pattern. X is A, 1 is B. So the first part is 1x cubed. Then it's plus 3 times A, which was x, squared, times 1. And then plus the last one cubed. And the minus is very similar. It's also in your book if you can't find it. It's x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 27. So those patterns are out there. All right, let's try out some of these special products. These are exactly the same except for the sign. So you're going to square 7m and you're going to square 3. So 7m squared is 49m squared minus 9. Perfect square minus a perfect square. All right, here's a square of a binomial. So it becomes 4t cubed squared plus 2 times 4t cubed times 6, and then plus 6 squared. Well, now you need your exponent properties. So when you're squaring this, it becomes 4, it gets distributed. 4 squared is 16t to the 6th plus 48t cubed plus 36. All right, and now the cube of a binomial. So a, that's xy, minus xy squared, and 4. Let's see here. This becomes just xy again. This is 4, and that's 4 cubed. All right, so you end up with x cubed y cubed minus 12x squared y squared plus, let's see, that's 16 times 3, 48. $64. All right, let's move on. All right, so I'm going to do these checkpoints for you and the guided practices you need to do on your own. All right, so multiply. X times x is, or x times 6x squared, 6x cubed. X times 3x, 3x squared. X times 5, minus 5x. Negative 2 times 6x squared is negative 12x squared. Negative 2 times 3x, 6x, plus 10. So, now combine like terms. Erase that. It's pointing to the wrong number. There you go. So that's your answer. All right, now 2 binomials, or 3 binomials. First, forget about this. You got x squared minus 6x plus 3x minus 18. Let's combine some like terms. And now we take that and we multiply by x plus 5. So it's x squared times x squared times 5, negative 3x times x, oh, I forgot the squared there. So combining some like terms, the 15, negative 15x minus 18x, that's a minus 33x, and then 18 times 5. All right. So that is that. Try to use these special patterns for 5 and 6. Go ahead and do the guided practices. And here is your what we'll work on in class. Good luck.